Let's do it. Well, hopefully you didn't have too much in the market today. My God. Wow. I didn't call my parents. My parents are in the market, and I thought, yeah, maybe I'll check in. I had a feeling that my mom and dad might be a little unhappy with the current state of things, so I decided to just let them take a little bit of a break. So I don't know if you ever heard of the VIX. VIX is the volatility index, VIX. It was spiking. If it's under 30, it's like, everything's okay. If it's above 50, it's problems. It was in the 60s. So, uh, pandemonium all over. Not the good kind either. So there's market meltdown. Supposedly things are going up right now, but I think we all know what's really going on. It's called a dead cat bounce. For those who don't know, let's just talk about that real quick. What's a dead cat bounce? Well, basically, if you get these traders, that's TRADERS. It's not with a T. They get used to buying the dip, essentially, or BTFD, as they say in the language, buy the effing dip. But it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you've got, like 2008, where the S&P went down to 666. Look that one up. And people keep buying on the way down, and they just lose further and further and further. So you can BTFD sometimes, but right now, with all the global issues going on, unrest, as I said over on the crisis report, I was talking to my wife. I said, have you heard about Bangladesh? She said, I just live in my bubble. It's true. It's not a bad place to be. But that's where most people are. Most people have no clue. None. So it's the CBOE volatility index. That is the Chicago Board of Exchange. Okay. That is their, market. But they've got the volatility index, or the VIX, measures 62.27 before trading opened. Highest level for the index since March 2020. It rose to as high as 85.47. So, major problems. I don't know where Bitcoin is right now. If you know where it is, go ahead and put that in there. But, oh, she's cute. U.S. stocks fell sharply on... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. She looks incredibly intelligent. U.S. stocks fell sharply on Monday as part of a global market sell-off centered around U.S. recession fears. Japan's Nikkei 225, 12% worst day since 87, Black Monday. Yeah, that one took Reagan out in his last year or so. Not good. So, Dow futures slide 200 after the NASDAQ falls into correction. Problems. And that was what the day was. So what's the VIX? The VIX is volatility. All this stuff is not getting fixed, okay? And don't worry, I'm not just going to talk about markets. We've got a plan for all this. But, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to go out there into the world and kind of figure out that things are off. There's major problems going on. That's why, you hear about these people with their ignorance is bliss, and that's all wonderful, but eventually these people are going to get their faces ripped off. How so? Well, a lot of the trading apps today, like Fidelity and others, you couldn't enter into them to make trades. So imagine you've got Amazon. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm about to lose, my butt. I want to sell some of this stuff. And the app that you trade on is not working. You can't do it. So you can't sell your Amazon or your Apple or whatever. That's a problem. Robinhood, which is, app on its own, is the famous home of where GameStop got its whole thing. They did a stop, circuit breaker, as they call it. There's circuit breaker in the topics. What is that? Well, they just stop everything. This thing is crap in the bed. Imagine you're cleaning your kid up, and the kid is just having a diarrhea explosion, right? And you just hit a button on his stomach, and all of a sudden the diarrhea just stops and everything. You just clean up a little bit and get ready for the next round. That's kind of what these circuit breakers are. But instead of poop, it's your money. So, oh man, Labor Department reported that 114,000 workers were added last month. It's like 174 is what it was supposed to be. Unemployment rate's up 4.3%. Terrible. The whole thing is just nasty. But gosh dang it. Here's the cool thing about it, folks. Kamala is still going to be like leading Trump in all the polls. You mark my words. Everybody out there is so happy. They just, gosh, they love this. They love the financial pain. They love it. Taz, my friend, texted me in the background today. He was waking up, starting drinking coffee. He lives in California. I live here, Maryland, East Coast. It's a picture of a bag of Doritos, a 6-ouncer. $6. This is at a Walmart. This wasn't at some, gas station or boutique store. 6 ounces for $6. It's crazy. Nobody can pay for that. So anybody thinking that everybody's totally happy, oh, the administration's doing great, I'm going to vote for him again. Horse crap. Horse crap. Sorry. I don't believe that for a second. But don't you worry. The polls are going to tell you everything that you need to know. Oh, 14 ounce. Sorry, brother. I thought that was way off, too. All right, 14 ounce. That's a little bit more. Still, though, that's just nuts. Thank you, Taz. I'm glad you're here. I was doing that to see if you're here, bud. Yen carry trade unwinding, triggering. You can't. I tried to explain this I think I did last night here. I can't explain it. Nobody can. Yen carry trade is very complex, and I can't explain it, and I wouldn't scare you and try to do that, but it's bad. So, what happened today? Let's go through some of the key points. CBOE volatility, VIX, measure market fear, spiked 62.27. Weak jobs data, 114,000 jobs added. Unemployment goes up to 4.3. SOM rule. This is how we know that a recession is coming in. By the way, they have changed the definition of a recession in the last few years, just so things look better for the administration. Look that one up. That is not a lie. Rise in unemployment activated the SOM rule, a reliable recession predictor, indicating the economy might be entering into recession due to the jobless rate increases by over 0.5 percentage point from its 12-month low. So what happened? Dow Jones Industrial crapped the bed, NASDAQ crapped the bed, all the other markets crapped the bed. Federal Reserve response, well, concerns about a potential recession have raised questions about the Federal Reserve's timing in cutting interest rates, speculation of a significant rate reduction in September. To address all of this, they got to get Joe back over the hump, or Kamala, whatever, who. Neither of those people are running the country, let's just be honest. Come on now. Anybody thinking that Joe or Kamala is doing anything? No, it's all this network of analysts and other assholes that are in the background doing it. So let's go through it. Bitcoin, crypto markets plunged. Economic concerns, market volatility over the past few days. Stock market's been plummeting. Trading screens across the U.S., Asia, Europe. Blinking, just blammo red numbers. South going to HE double hockey sticks. Main fear, U.S. recession. Yep, it's coming. And the data and all that. So the yen carry trade is blamed. Nobody's going to try and explain that. Literally couldn't understand it if you could. All this, and more. Bitcoin, let's see, tumbled almost 8%. It's down 54,346. I heard silver and I heard gold both tumbled, crap the bed as well. So, problems all over the place. But here's the good news. Everybody likes what's going on, and the current administration is going to win again. We love them. They are not the problem. Well, Federal Reserve really is the main issue. They do all the monetary stuff. They're not even federal. Look that up. They don't have a reserve of any sort, and the answer to basically no one, right? So they go in, they do their stuff, and of course the whole thing is, well, the answer to no one's they can be independent, kind of like the Supreme Court, right? Democrats don't like them too much, but we printed a whole crap load of money back in 2020 and 2021, and yes, it was Trump too. So the money printing was going on, but again, it was Trump and it was Joe's administration between the two of them, but it was the Federal Reserve. So administration comes out, the Federal Reserve starts printing the crap out of money. They start chucking out stimulus packages. Everybody gets high on monetary cocaine, and then all of a sudden they wake up the next morning and they don't know where the hell they are, and they're in some strange lady's room. They're paying her for services. The bill is coming due, and everything is absolutely terrible. And we're hungover. We can't pay our bills. And everything is super expensive. That's kind of where we're at right now. Okay? There's a reason why Bitcoin is at almost $60,000. It was over it. Gold was almost at $2,500. Silver's probably at like, $22 still. So you might be able to afford that. We can't allow that for you to be able to go out and get anything that might actually preserve your wealth. So we'll just keep kicking silver into the nuts, even though it's in all kinds of stuff. It's in solar, it's in renewable energy, it's in dentistry, all kinds of stuff. But it doesn't matter. It's all over the place. Actually, it's pretty rare. But anyway, I digress. You buy whatever you want to buy. I'm not giving you financial advice, but I definitely know what I'm doing. So, as all this is going on, you've got chaos around the world. I'm going to go to Bangladesh. And the reason why everybody knows what's going on in England, everybody knows what's going on in Israel, everybody knows what's going on in Ukraine, everybody knows what's going on potentially in Japan, in Taiwan, and everybody knows what's going on in Venezuela. Most people don't know what's going on in Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is really getting bad. Bangladesh plunged into turmoil. Basically, their minister, Sheikh Hasina, fled the country on Monday. Why? Because the people are unhappy. Okay? Why are they unhappy? Well, it's cronyism. If you look back, basically what's going on, these students get out of university and none of them can get a job. The best jobs, of course, are with the government. Why? Because the government takes all of your money via taxes and then does all kinds of services and everything to legitimize itself, and getting a job in that to be like a federal inspector for something and go and look at restaurant grades or whatever and get your bucksheesh under the table for the kind service of going there and giving them their A grade, even though there's nasty, wildlife all over the kitchen. People are unhappy. And so they started to revolt, throw, all kinds of crap going on. Students were protesting. Now, what's going on is they have basically kicked out the Sheikh Hasina. She fled to India. Who is she? She is the daughter of the main guy that, I think his name is Rahman, who started the whole country. Those that don't know, Bangladesh and Pakistan were products of the Indian independence. India gets independent, these countries form themselves, the Hindus go to India, the Muslims go to Pakistan and to Bangladesh, okay? And, Dhaka, the main country or main city, is one of the largest in the world. It's one of the top 5. So what's going on? Well, protests led by students began last month against quota system from 1972. System reserved up to 30% of government jobs for the families of veterans from Bangladesh's 1971 independence war against Pakistan. Over time, young Bangladeshis grew increasingly dissatisfied, arguing the system disproportionately benefited Hasina Awami League Party. By the way, one of them supposedly was burned alive tonight, one of their party leaders. Led of the independence movement, additionally, 26% of the jobs were reserved for applicants from disadvantaged districts, women, minority groups, disabled. Supreme Court dismantled the system, reducing the freedom fighter quota to 5%, opening 93% of government jobs to all applicants. Yay! Remaining 2% reserved for ethnic minorities and other people with disabilities and other certain protected statuses, as you can read. Despite these changes, the protests continued, fueled by anger over the government's violent crackdowns, which resulted in hundreds of deaths. 300 as of officially, probably much more now. Hasina's sudden departure left the nation in a state of uncertainty. Local media aired footage of Hasina and her sister Rehana escaping Dhaka via a military helicopter, with reports suggesting she headed to Tripura, India. Indian government has yet to comment on her arrival. So there's Dhaka right there. Now, why am I telling you all this? You're like, what the heck do I care about Bangladesh? Why do I care? Whatever. Who cares? Look at this thing. This is America coming. Do you see what this is? 26% of jobs were reserved for applicants from all these different things. You don't see that going on here? You don't see all these different special interests and everything getting, the lion's share of, favor? That's all this is. That's what's going on in the United Kingdom. People are mad because these groups that are protected classes, over here it's our new neighbors, and in Europe and in places like London and others, it's the new neighbors. Over here, it's these minority groups and stuff. You can only just chuck so much to these people, right? And without people going, wait a second, I'm suffering here, and you're giving all of this favor to people, and they just got sick of it. And I can see this kind of a thing happening in America. It's definitely happening in the United Kingdom. It's definitely going to happen in other places. People are tired of a system that is rigged to certain people. Okay? It is what it is. Now, people could say, oh, well, it used to be rigged towards, other people back in the day. Well, yeah, but we changed. Started to do all kinds of things, changed the law, all that kind of stuff. How much more do we have to do? So, I can see these kind of things happening here. I can. So let me take you here. This is what happens when your country goes full on socialist communist. And I remind you that Venezuela in the 1990s and early 2000s was the richest country in all of South America. So they've got all these post-election demonstrations because basically Maduro went in and did what he did. He is keeping the Chavista regime in power by any means possible. And I will just leave it at that. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So now they're shutting down and they're arresting all kinds of people. The Starmer government in UK has said that they're going to arrest all kinds of people because you can't protest anymore. All these other countries are saying, you know what, we need to shut down all of the, socials and all that out there because all information needs to come from officialdom, and you shouldn't be able to protest. You shouldn't be able to question. You shouldn't be able to say, hey, wait a second, this is unfair, no matter what it is. Unfairness is not good, no matter what it is. And thinking you're going to undo the past by being, discriminatory towards groups because 50 years ago, some of them were discriminatory. That's not going to work. You don't fight, you're not going to, two wrongs don't make a right. But now all this is coming in. Now all these groups are coming in, and Maduro is arresting 2,000 protesters, giving them maximum punishment. Does that remind you of anybody, say, here in America, that in the first month of 2021, decided to go and question things? Yeah, of course. Maduro announced that 2,000 civilian arrests have been made and denounced those who contest his administration. And you shall not contest his administration. You shall not contest the great government in Bangladesh. You shall not contest the wonderful government in the United Kingdom or in Ireland or anywhere for that matter. Okay? Basically what's going on now is all these governments are just, whores to the moneyed people that are running their business and everything. And these people are doing nasty stuff and they don't want people to question it. So they're cracking down. This is becoming more and more and more and more and more and more and more across the world. All of your rights. There are all kinds of people in this country, in America, that would love to get rid of the First and Second Amendment. But to get rid of the second, you got to get rid of the first. And to do that, you've got to make it so if you question anything or you do anything, and you shouldn't be violent, if you're going to protest, you do what Gandhi did. You do peaceful resistance. You take your money away and stuff like that. You march to the sea and you say, I'm going to get my salt there. I'm not going to buy it through the government. All this is coming. And if you think that it's not coming here, well, guess what? It will. So now they're doing a bit of a probe on Elon because, well, he has the audacity to start a super PAC and to go for Orange Man Bad. Yep. So it's funded in part by Elon and dedicated to supporting Orange Man Bad, his re-election campaign. And when I say Orange Man Bad, it's not because I don't like him. It's to make fun of all the people that get like a friggin' piece of coal up their butt because the man is running for re-election. If you don't like him, vote against him, okay? But he's not, I know people that I love he's the Antichrist group. Maybe he is. He's got me fooled. But anyway. Democrat officials are using his prominence to draw attention to dark money in the presidential election. And Lord knows there's no dark money on the other side. Soros. Anyway. First reported an investigation by Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. Check her butt out from past elections. She's a bit of the DNC sisterhood, if you will. Her Musk multi-million donations to America PAC, even though neither she nor the others could point to any specific laws that the third-party group had broken. So now they're investigating, right? Because she's told to. Rich people in the background say, you need to go after these people. This is called lawfare, folks. This is where we're going now. That's why it does matter with this whole no forgiveness thing. Okay? We shouldn't be in governments or political situations where you don't have the freedom to say, I disagree. Or I want to give my money to the other candidate. So he pledged to donate $45 million to groups of America PAC. He's walked that back some, but he is doing things. He's being very positive. X, of course, has been kind of the people on the right's go-to after all the other big techs have left them in the dust and done all kinds of things to suppress. We all know this. So he is the richest man in the world. Group's focus has been registering voters nationwide, but puts a special emphasis on collecting data from voters in battleground states, because everybody knows that the election is going to be won in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, Georgia, and even Nevada. Okay? Probably missing one. Doesn't matter. These are the states where things are going to happen. These are the swing states. Okay? The way our founders, we don't need electoral college to blah, blah. No, the electoral college is there for a reason. It's because everybody has to campaign across the entire country. Can't just go to Chicago, New York, L.A., and get those, 50 million people in those big suburbs and say, all right, I'm good, and totally forego all the people in Kansas or in Utah or in New Mexico or wherever. You got to go in and go to the entire country because the states matter. That's why they do it that way. And it's a pretty effective and unique system. The founding fathers were not stupid. So, statement, spokesperson for Benson said the office is probing the PAC to determine if voter data is being used and disclosed properly. Because Lord knows Zucker, whatever his name is, on Facebook isn't taking all of your information and selling the crap out of it and doing all kinds of other things. That's totally going on. Okay? We all do. So while America PAC is a federal political action committee, the department is reviewing their activities to determine if there have been any violations of state law. We will refer to potential violations to the Michigan Attorney General's office as appropriate. So what are they saying? Basically, if you are not doing things for the preferred party, then we're going to come in, you're going to climb up your butt with a microscope, and we're going to look around. I mean, this is a political action committee. These things have been around for a long time. Citizens United is thing that kind of created the way for these things to get going. It used to be people would just give political money, call up, I want to pledge $100 to Orange Man Bad or Kamala or whatever. And all right, cool. Now they got these PACs out there taking their money and raising it and putting it into commercials and stuff to say, did you know that Donald Trump eats babies in the morning? Stuff like that. And Kamala is, really from another planet. Yada, yada, yada. That kind of thing. So, what am I getting out with all this, folks? We're starting here now. This kind of crap is going to turn into this kind of crap. Okay? It's already happening. If you think what happened in the first month of 2021 in those people, I mean, that should never happen. Our Constitution specifically is written to stop that, but it's happening. So anybody saying that it's not going to happen in America, you're lying to yourself. So this kind of thing is going to happen. And what do you think with people like Benson? What do you think their job is to do? Their job is to make it so their party will stay in power for as long as possible. The motto is by any means possible. Okay? And that turns into this. Then you have no political freedom. Then you have no, say. You've got no way to voice your opinion. Say, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. No, you can't do that because your butt's going to get chucked into jail forever. And then this happens. Major upset. Country just devolves into chaos. From what I understand, it is absolute friggin' nuts there right now. People are literally getting pulled from their homes. This I'm not going to go any further than that. But let's just say that the Hindus and the Muslims don't really like each other. There's a reason why Pakistan and India separated, and then, of course, Bangladesh separated from Pakistan. This is becoming violent. All of this kind of thing is going to happen if we don't get things under reins. Okay, it starts with lawfare and people checking it out and saying, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Let's look into your money and all that. Let's make sure everything is on the up and up. It starts there. Then it goes to what's going on in Venezuela, and you can use your imagination to the point where people are getting arrested, and a lot of them you'll probably never see again. And then what's happening in Bangladesh and other places. That's what's going to happen. Violent protests. You know, when you take away people's political voice, they're going to lash out. They're going to do things that are nasty and terrible. It's coming. So, I pray to God that America does not devolve into what's going on in Venezuela and what's going on in Bangladesh. Yeah, what's going on in the United Kingdom. I pray. Our system is pretty darn good. It was made for checks and balances and everything else, but there's a warped group of people, and you could say they cross lines in the partisan lines. They're basically trying to make it so this experiment that we call America is undermined and devolves in ways that other places around the world are devolving. What's going on in the United Kingdom, you know, they keep getting crappy governments, and they want to change things, and it just goes back, and every time it gets worse and worse. If you keep trying to do things correctly in the political way, and it never changes for the better, what do you think people are going to do? And I'm not saying that because I think it should happen. I'm saying that because I'm warning people here right now. This is the kind of thing we need to really keep in check. Lawfare will turn into what you're seeing here. It will. Benson should let the pack do what the pack's doing. If they're doing terrible things, go and figure it out. But don't just preemptively go after them because they're not on your side of the political sphere. Now we're getting to the place in American politics where it's by any means possible. And when that happens, that means that it will be by any means possible. Political, you know, people like, think of, what's his name? Oh gosh, I can't, he does all the movies. He was Indian. Anyway, he got busted for like a political donation thing, and he went to jail. You know, slap on the wrist for anybody else, but because he's of a certain political flavor, he went away. Do you think any of the Antifa people are going to get any kind of time if they get busted with stuff? No. They'll be told to show up, and they'll be dismissed. Weaponizing our justice system and weaponizing our political system to keep one party in power is going to have really, really, really terrible ends. And that's where we're headed. Venezuela is not outside the realm, folks. Venezuela was about 22 years ago. They were the richest country in South America. Oil reserves, a whole 9 yards. Great place to live. And then Chavez came in and he turned it into a socialist nightmare. And people now can't get out of it. Now people are escaping. They're trying to leave in droves, and they have to do whatever they can, you know, traversing through jungles and everything else just to get out because it's so bad. People going into zoos and attacking, you know, animals to eat. That's the kind of stuff that's going on, or has gone on. Bangladesh isn't outside the realm either. These guys wanted to change. They thought it was cronyism. Cronyism is another element of all this. It's coming as well. Cronyism is bad. Cronyism is what leads to all this crap going on. If you go and you get your degree from a university and you can't get the job you want because it's all promised to other people because all these stupid rules and stuff, it's going to make you mad, you know. If you are of a certain tone of skin or, you know, sexuality, and it stops you from getting into schools or getting jobs and stuff because you're not of the preferred class, it's going to aggravate you. Especially when it's becoming much more pervasive. We should be in a meritocracy. It should be about your merit. What do you have and what do you bring? A lot of things going on all around us right now are breaking down because we're not worried about having the best person for the job. We're worried about checking boxes. And it's going to get worse. It is. So I hope everybody has an opportunity to have a wonderful life and all that, but same time, tipping the scales is going to lead to political violence. And we are starting to see the first elements of that here. If you would have told me in 2016 where we are in 2024 in just 2 election cycles, I'd have laughed in your face and said, no way. There's no way. No way things could go that way. And here we are. Because a lot of these people in the background, they don't want to give up power. And their puppets will do whatever they can to keep them in power because they're told to. So, all right, friends, if I can get you to hit that like button and everything, if you like what we're doing here, I'm seeing things happening all around us that are showing me that America is devolving in ways that are turning into Venezuela. And I'm worried about it. And there's ways to make it so everything is alleviated. There's an alleviation of all this, but I don't see it happening currently. So when you're weaponizing our justice system, our political system against people because, it's all about power, well, nasty things happen. Venezuela, Bangladesh are showing the way. So, and also people need to be able to, pay for food and stuff. So when our money and everything is all out of whack as well because of, all these people causing crises in our monetary policy and causing inflation. That's another thing that's going wrong, So I'm just causing awareness. I don't know what to do. Whole thing is just spiraling out of control. Again, like I said, if you told me in 2016 where we'd be in 2024, I'd have said, no way. There's no way. No way we'd be here. But we are. So hopefully we can avoid chaos. Hopefully we can get things back to normal. Hopefully we'll be allowed to get things back to normal, if you know what I mean. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But where things are going right now is it's not going to be good because this is what it looks like when things get nasty and people are fighting over the same loaves of bread. All right, friends, we're going to cut it off right there. I really appreciate you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, all that. As you know, we're not getting any of the love. They've got things clamped down. Those days of getting 5,000 to 15,000 views. That's been taken away because, we're saying things like it is here. So I appreciate you. Hit the buttons. God bless. And we will see you on the next one.